And we're live. So, hello everyone. Nobody's in yet, but I'm going to say hello anyway. Good evening to you all. Welcome to another episode of SprueCast, our weekly podcast. Sorry we weren't on last week. There were a lot of things going on. Gordon was, I don't think Gordon was well. Gil, you were painting a room, I think, and I think I had an allergic reaction to something, if I remember correctly, and so we knocked it on the head, basically.
Hey, Mark, we got a bad feedback from somebody. I don't know where it's coming from.
Have we? Okay, let's just. Has anyone got any?
Yeah.
2 microphones going or something?
It seems like it cleared up. We were having a bad feed. Yeah, you hear it every now and then. I don't know where it's coming from though.
No, I'm not sure. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully it will rectify it.
Yeah, there it is. Hear it? It sounds like somebody's underwater. All right, try it again, Mark.
Okay, so testing. 1 2 1 2 3 4.
It's good.
Yeah, we good.
Cool.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully, it will sort itself out. I don't think it's anything this end, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. A couple of things I just want to mention. We're planning a Q&A session with Will Patterson in the near future. We're going to be asking him about getting your work published. So if you've got any questions, maybe you're interested in getting published, or you want to know what the route is, or who you get in touch with, or anything like that, put your questions down in the comments below and we will compile them. And once we've got a few questions together, I'll set a date and we will get Will on, and he will come and answer them. He's been published by a couple of magazines, I believe, and he knows the ropes and that, and he'll give you a straight answer. So there'll be no glossing over anything. So be prepared for that. So that's coming soon. Not sure how soon. It depends on the feedback we get, but hopefully fairly soon. Tonight we're going to be talking about the absolute car wreck that is AK's advertising. We will cover that once we've been through our weekly what we've been buying and building and so forth. Which we'll get on with straight away, really. So here we go. We're going to look at what we've been building, what we've been buying, if we've been buying anything. And I think, who wants to go first this week?
I've got one in front of me. If you want, I can just go ahead and show that real quick.
Excellent. So we'll go with Gil first this week. Let me just... There you are, Gil. It's all yours.
Right. I haven't bought anything in a while, believe it or not. No paint. No, I mean, I have some paint here that came in, but that's for something else, so I won't show that here. But I was working on this piece here, this Black Panther piece here. Oh, well, that's too bright. Did this for my grandson. There's pictures of it on Facebook, and I'll probably have something on it on my YouTube channel. It's just it's an NY3D picture. It's one of his earliest ones. He's since redone it and made the pose a little bit like this. What I did was he was actually off to the side, leaning over. So what I did was I resculpted a new rock here, and then had him looking up. So yeah, that's what I painted. That's about all I've done all week, which working on this.
How
And
do you achieve something like that? Because we were discussing earlier, black is not an easy color to do.
the color black is, and a lot of people don't take that into account. When you do the color black, it is you just don't lay black in there. You want highlights, you want shadows, you want reflections, especially on, say, the Black Panther. If you've seen the movie or read the comic books, there's a sheen almost to his when he gets hit with something or when he moves, you see a sheen. And it you can take that with any black. When you do black, you have to add other colors to it. And typically what you want to do is you want to add, like here, like again, I know the lights are pretty intense here. Let me see if I can lower it just a little bit. Now you see here, like in his shoulder there, his bicep, if you look at his the high points and stuff, there's and as I move him, you could see him. You could see all the different, highlights. Well, he's looking up to the sun. The way I've got him set up is he's looking up and the light source is coming down on him. So you have to take that into account. So what's your light source? It doesn't matter what your light source is. You have to lighten, certain parts of it so you have a light source. Zenith, whatever. I'm sorry?
What's that technique that I've heard about? I've used it before myself, where you spray your dark color from below, and then you spray a lighter color from above.
That's called zenithal priming.
That's it.
I very rarely use it, and not because it's not good. I mean, it's helpful to a certain degree. If you're painting, like for me, I have a light, this light right here.
Yeah.
And when I'm painting, before I sit down and paint, I shut the only lights are on. I have it out dark in here. So I'll put the figure right in front of me and I'll start doing this. And because, not that I'm special, because I'm not, but I remember where those shadows are going to be. In my mind's eye, I know where I want those shadows. Does it always work out that way? No. That's why I don't use the priming stages and the priming. Not all the time. I've done it and I still do it. If I'm getting lazy, I don't want to go through all the. But usually what I do is I'll pose them on my desk and I have an intense light and I'll sit back and look at it. And I'll start moving it around. I go, okay, that's where I want it. And then I try to remember it. And if I don't, I snap a picture, click real quick. And then every now and then, further that, I'll move it over to, send it to my computer. And then every now and then I'll open up an image of it to remind myself where those shadows. That's the way I do it. I mean, zenithal priming is great, but a lot of times when you see people do that, they end up destroying what they've done with the zenithal priming. They go over it. Now, I'm not saying everybody does it, but a lot. I've seen it. They'll do the zenithal priming, show you where the highlights are at, and they'll do, this is where this, and look at this. It looks great in black and white or whatever, gray or whatever color. And then they add the color on there, and they just totally destroy everything they just did with the zenithal priming. You got to be aware of that. You got to be aware of where those shadows are. So with black is when you're painting something all black, for me, it's one of the most difficult colors to paint. That and white. White is
white. I was just talking to Angela the other night actually, and I had to paint it's totally unrelated, but on aircraft you have to paint white a lot on the inside of engine parts and that, because they use it to spot hydraulic leaks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just telling Angela how awful the color was to work with in spraying, in painting and that. And she commented that she's a very, very good cross stitch person. The work she's done is phenomenal. She's had she's done custom work for people. She's had what is it? When somebody asks you to do something,
commissioned work.
That's it. Okay, sorry, my memory's just
okay.
So she's done commission work. So she knows her stuff, and everybody that's seen it will testify she's brilliant at it. But she said that white in cross stitch is also a horrible color to work with. So I just think it's odd that it goes through all the hobbies, that white and black, and it's not just painting, it's cross stitch. Knitting.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just saying that it's every hobby has this thing about white and black, how difficult it is to work with.
See, I have an image here, and I want to just if you don't mind, I'll show it real quick.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Let me find it real quick. Okay, why is it not letting me show it? Here we go. Let's see. Press on that.
Yeah, I've got it.
Let me go to the image that I'm looking for. You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Now that outfit is black, but you see all the colors in it?
Yeah.
So that when you see here, you have purples. There's a little green in there. See, you can see it right here. A little green in there. There's a little yellow in there. Same thing here. It all depends on where the light source is at. And then you have the dark. The light source for him is coming from this angle right here. So that's where the light source is. But it's not black. When you look at it, you're like, oh, that's nice. It's black. But when you're doing, even when you're doing like this here, like when you're doing the metal around there, there's blue in that. If you see it right there, there's a little blue there in the shadows. There's a little yellow right here on the shoulder. So you see what I'm talking about? There's a lot more color that goes into that than you would imagine. So when people are doing that, they should keep that in mind. Black, if you're doing something in black, it shouldn't be just all black and gray. Now with this guy, all the colors I used on him was black. It's just the basic color is black stynylrest. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there's purple, there's green, there's blue, there's yellow, there's a little bit of gold, a little bit of tan. And then I went in with some washes, airbrushed some washes into them. Purple, after I did all that, I went in. After I put all those colors in, I took a black ink and I watered it down very, very translucent and just right over the top of everything, just to mute everything. Yeah. And then after that, I went in with some real thin inks, purple, blue, green, and just into the shadows, to darken up the shadows. Add a little color here, Yeah. So you don't see all that, but it's there. Now you'll see it if you look real close at it. If you take it and you do this and you start moving them, you see all the colors. But that's what you should do, especially if you're doing a figure in a car. No, not really. You don't really have to do it. But I've done it. You paint a car black, and I've taken some purple ink and just on the highlights. That way, when you move it, you could see wherever the light hits it, you'll see it. But yeah, black is the two colors I hate painting the most are black and white.
I've got a Black Widow that I built that actually Gordon sent me the kit.
The plane? The plane?
Yeah, P61.
Yeah, P61. And although it looks black, I can tell you there's no black in it. Yeah. It's very dark blue.
Yeah.
It's very dark blue and I think it's a sort of like a dark grey in there as well, but there is actually no black. Although it looks black, but if you get it in the right light, you can see when it shines off it. And people make this mistake with tires.
Mark, switch your camera.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Okay. What I tell people all the time when they're doing figures, I'll tell them all the time. They say, "What should I use? I'm going to use black for my shadows." A shadow isn't black. This color is not natural to
it's an absence of color.
Exactly. And when you look at this, as you're seeing it right now in the camera, you see the highlights. See that?
Yeah.
You'll see all the highlights there. Nothing is in nature, and nothing that we see with our eye is black. Like Josh says, it's the absence of color. So you add a little bit more to it. Like here, if I'm going to do a T-shirt like this here, there's different colors in there. You see a little blue tint there. You see a little gray tint there. You move over a little bit more here. See that right there? There's the light's coming in. Now that's a little lighter. There's a little yellow in there. So yeah, you got to remember that, especially when you're doing black.
It's actually reflected light. I learned this in photography. Most things, I think Josh has coined it perfectly when he says absence of color. Most things are just, there's no color there. Yeah. But then sunlight or light hits them, and if I remember correctly, it's the colors, certain colors are absorbed and certain color is reflected. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what gives you your color.
Exactly.
It's very hard to explain.
See, like I'm looking at Gordon's shirt, and I can see different colors reflected off of that shirt. Same thing with Josh. He's got a black shirt on, but towards his shoulder there, I can see different colors reflected off it. I can see greens in that. That's how you get that color. That color.
That's called dirt.
Well, I'm talking about, but you see, you use certain greens, certain yellows, certain blues, a little bit of purple, and you'll get that color that he's got on that shirt there. A light. You of course you're going to use a little gray to begin with, but then you mute that. You start adding color to that, and that's how you'll get that color that he's got there. It's something you have to play with, to get it right.
Apologies for that. I've just muted my phone.
That's all right. It's okay. So that's it. That's all I got there, Mark.
What's going on?
Excellent. That was really interesting. Actually, it's it's good. It's informative. Who wants to go next then?
What's Gordon been working on?
He's got something on that table there.
Yeah. So we do Gordon now. Let me just bring you up. There you go. Oh, yes, the tornado.
Oh, that's looking good, Mark or Gordon. That's looking really good.
I wish it was mine.
Yeah, we've got the ejector seats all done.
Now, those were aftermarket, right, Gordon?
Yeah, they're now which brand were they? Quick Boost. They were Quick Boost 1/32 scale ejector seats for the tornado with the straps and everything on them, and they're really well made, really well detailed and stuff. And you just cut the pouring stub off, and they drop straight into the cockpit. Got all done in there, and the thing that's been taking the time is these intake covers.
Mm. Now you hand built, right? Those are scratch built, am I correct?
Yeah, and getting the texture on them. That was quite fun and games. It took me over a week to get them. That I was happy with them.
I'll be the dummy. Why does that have texture on them?
It's cloth.
It's cloth, yeah.
Ah, okay, that explains it. Never mind.
Yeah, but yeah, it was trying to come up with the right technique to give it that suppleness, but not make it look plasticky.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the problem I was having. Each time I tried something new, it didn't quite work, so it was back to the drawing board. But I've actually put the the cables on. Well, they're actually bungees that pulls back. They put a pin in, and it goes over the top.
It keeps them in place, yeah.
And the back, it's a plastic cover that goes over the exhaust, well, an intake sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the bungee runs across there, look.
Yeah.
Around the back and down the inside. But that's this is what's been taking the time up, getting that done.
Wow. That is exceptional.
That's good work.
It's been a case of do a bit. Now what do I do? So what I've been doing, I've been tinkering with a couple of other little bits and pieces that folks will like. So the first one is I've actually got my RAF P51.
Nice.
Finished off now.
That's so.
Oh wow, that's looking good.
So I'm trying to bring it in. Because I'm trying not to get the light glare on it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the weathering on that. I like what you've done. It's not too. I like it. I just love the weathering. I think you've nailed that perfectly.
It's not too much, and it's not enough sort of thing. I've managed to get the right balance on it because I've done some paint fading on the tail and stuff on various other panels and stuff on it as well. And you see a lot of aircraft done with D-Day stripes and they're all nice and straight. Oh, we know they were painted with rags, mops, brushes, you name it, whatever. All right. And I've hand painted them with one of my old sign writing paintbrushes. Because it gives me a straightish edge, but not a straight edge. You get a little bit of waviness in it.
Yeah.
And the chipping where the gun put, well, this panel here and that one there open up, so you'd have chips on there around where the guns are and a bit of staining here and there. So I've actually got that one finished now. So that is the RF version. And here's another RF one. And this is the one Mark's been seeing a lot of just lately.
Oh, that is, oh man, that is, you've hid that one away.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh man, yeah, you've hid that one away, Gordon. Well done, bravo. That's excellent.
But yeah.
Oh, that's superb.
Because a common misbelief that people think that Mustangs are all natural metal. No, they weren't. There was just a fuselage and the back ends. Everything else was painted in aluminium, high-speed silver or whatever. So you've got different panel colours here and there. The fuel tanks, these are new ones. That's why they're quite shiny. And then you got on the top, these would be bare metal. You got, I think about 4 different tones of aluminium on that.
Damn, that's good.
But
and what have you used there for that? What is that paint on there?
The base I've started, the primer was rattle can. Then I gloss blacked it with some Tamiya X1
right
as the base, and then I used a mixture of Alclad and AK Extreme Metals and stuff
for the different tones.
For the different tones, yeah, because you can get an Alclad polished aluminium, and you can get AK's polished aluminium, and you'd think they were both the same colour, yet you can stick them on your spoons, and they're two different colours.
They're two different colors. One looks more like a titanium than
well, that's it. See, if you look at that, these are right. One is AK's polished aluminium, and the other one is the polished aluminium. And you could just see by that off the spoon how different they are. So
that's really interesting, because I read a comment recently, and Gil will know this because it was a comment on one of his items, and somebody Gil had said he was using old clad, and somebody said, why would you?
Yeah.
Do you know the comment I mean, Gil?
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
It would be foolish. You would be foolish to use it.
Right.
And to me, there's an answer.
You know what? Funny you should mention. Well, I won't show it, but that Mandalorian. I shot that in the chrome, and you saw the shine on that.
Yeah.
But I knocked the shine down because the Mandalorian's armor isn't that shiny, you know. So I had to go back and knock it down after I watched a few episodes again. But I use it. I mean, I have the AK, the medals, you know, the stuff here, and I love them. They're great. Like Gordon was saying, you know, yeah, one is a little bit shinier than the other, but you can get that Alclad to be exceptionally shiny. And like that comment you're talking about, why would you? Why wouldn't I use it? I've been using it for years. Why wouldn't I use it?
Yeah. That is amazing. That's a very good build. Have you got that up in photos on the site, Gordon?
No, not yet. Because what I'm going to do an album and put it up in the SprueCast. I'm going to do the two Mustangs together.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do me Spitfire, me 109.
Yeah, because that's phenomenal work, and people,
they really. I've had quite a bit of feedback about the 109 and the Spit, right? So what I've done, they're both finished, but I'm working on some figures to put them. Yeah, it's the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain or whatever it is. And I just want to do a little bit of a little diorama that I've had toyed in my head. It's not a full-blown thing and stuff. It's just something simple but effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm working
that works the best sometimes.
Yeah, well, this is it. I'm working on the ground crew, basically, at the minute. So I don't want to lessen the impact by letting folks see how far the Spit 109 have gone. I just wait till they're finished, like I've done with those two.
Yeah.
And once I've got all four of them finished, then I'll take some photographs and stuff, and I'll put an album up of the lot of them in the SprueCast, because I'll do. I've got one or two photographs of the tornado as well, but the only thing that I didn't do was take some photographs before I started it.
I'm always doing that.
Well, this is it. You and one or two of the guys in the hangar actually saw what state that tornado was in when I brought it out the loft.
Yeah, it was pink.
Yeah, it was bright pink.
It didn't have none of those fancy covers on. It was good, but it just weren't great. And now it's night and day. The difference between the two is night and day.
Yeah, it was definitely pink, because back when it was originally painted, I used what paints I'd got at hand.
Yeah.
And that sort of colour was unusual. So the only thing I can remember was the colour that the SAS Land Rover was painted in. That colour.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a bit OTT. I thought, no. That's why it got put up. But I have got 1 or 2 photographs that I've taken of it as I've been working on it.
Yeah.
So once it's actually finished and it's on its dio, I shall put some build photographs up with it in an album on the SprueCast page.
Excellent. Brilliant. Excellent stuff.
Getting
What have you been working on, Mark?
Oh, you want me to go next? Okay.
We don't want to follow Gordon.
Mine is going to be really quick, I'm afraid. Well, I've been working on the. Let me just bring it up. I've been working on the Boeing AWACS.
Okay, that's cool.
Now, believe it or not, I've been on this for a week. And it's literally a case of I'm just doing the fuselage halves, and I've been having chronic problems getting rid of the seam line. And I've used all sorts. I've used Contact Rebel, I've used Resolve Putty, I've used plastic putty, I've used black cement, I've used Tamiya regular cement. Mr. Surfacer 500, all of them. And I sand it down, and still, when you put the primer on, you're left with a seam line. I believe Gordon called it a ghost line.
Hey, Mike, have you ever tried the acrylic nail monomer, the nail powder?
No, I haven't, no.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I don't, actually. The nail powder?
Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you.
No, I've never used that. So.
You can get this on Amazon if you can see it. Right here.
Bear with me a second. Let me. Okay, right. Let me. Oh, right. No, I've never seen that. Clear acrylic powder and liquid monomer. No, I've never seen that before.
Fair warning, this stuff stinks. But I'll tell you what, mix this up. You put it on a little, piece of glass or whatever you're using.
Yeah.
You put a little powder on there. You dip your brush in the monomer. You mix it up. You make it like a paste. You lay that on there.
Yeah.
Let it dry. 5 minutes later, sand it right down.
All right. Excellent.
For real tough seams, this stuff it's like the old baking soda and CA thing. The only difference is this stuff here. It's a little harder. It doesn't dry as fast as the baking soda and the CA glue thing, and it's down really nice. It sands down really beautiful. They use this to make nails. This stuff right here, and it's great.
Right.
It's
I'll look into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheap. It's not expensive. This will last you a lifetime, and then some.
And
Top tip.
If you can't get that, Gil, show them that 3M stuff that you have. I just got some. That friggin' stuff works awesome.
This stuff also works really good. It's called an acryl green spot putty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Acryl.
It's 3M acryl green spot putty.
Oh,
This tube will last me 10 lifetimes. I've had it for a while. And I'll tell you what, it's not as brittle as regular Bondo.
Right.
It dries faster and it sands beautifully.
Which is better out of the nail stuff and that?
Either one. I mean, if you've got a real tough seam, something you need to fill in, I would use that, the acryl or the monomer, the acrylic.
Yeah.
This is really good. Like if you got that little ghost seam, you get some of this, you put this stuff on there, you let it dry and you sand it down. You just got to make sure you don't sand it all the way down where it's all the way to, when you sand it down real nice and smooth, this will cover it up. Let it sit for, a few minutes. In about 5 minutes, this stuff is dry.
Oh, wow.
It's dry and it's sandable in about 5 minutes. This stuff is great. Gosh, have you been using it?
I've been using it on that Warlord Titan for some of them gaps.
Good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I haven't sanded it yet, but
yeah, you sand it, it's saying smooth. It's not. You're not sitting there having to put all that English into the sanding. Tearing up sanding stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I gather Mark wants me to go next, unless he's done.
I've just got one more.
Okay.
So the only other thing I've been working on, and this is part of a buddy build that I've been working on with Gordon and Bob, and this is it's something I saw on a previous episode. I think about 4 or 5 episodes ago, I showed a picture of somebody's.
Is that an intruder?
Yeah, and I just fell in love with it.
Yeah, I love that plane.
And I decided that I wanted to build it, and Gordon's got one, and Bob had got one, so I got one as well, and we're doing all this. So this is where I've got to. I've took the steps off because I've also got the external PE kit.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the canopy in. It's been a struggle. Let's just put it like that. It's been a struggle because let me just try and see whether it will. Come on, I know you want. I practiced this earlier.
There it is, right there.
Don't move.
It's not quite finished yet. There's some more colours got to go on. Like I know the rear where the ram is at the back. I know that's not copper. I will be painting that in the correct colour. I just fancied it in copper for a bit. It's a difficult kit. The instructions are not brilliant.
Who made it? Who's that kit by, Mark?
This is from Intruder. Sorry, not bloody Intruder. What am I talking about?
Hasagawa?
It's Kinetic. Sorry.
Kinetic. Oh, okay.
It is. I have reviewed this on my Sprue Surgery channel on YouTube, but it is this one here.
Okay.
That's so crazy.
Are you gonna do it with the wings up like that?
Initially, yes, I was going to, and then we discovered that there were so many errors in the instructions. There were so many things that it didn't tell you, numbers that were wrong, parts that were not numbered at all. And it reached the point where it had been such a struggle to get this far. I started wondering, do I really want to start deviating from instructions that are not brilliant? Anyone that's built this kit will probably understand what I'm talking about. Bob is actually waiting for me to build it first. He's deliberately hanging back so that, he's waiting for my reports. But there you go. And that's it. That's all I've been doing. And with that, I will pass over to Josh.
So this is kind of what I've been working on. I put kind of a clear coat on this.
Nice.
That looks quite nice, actually. Yeah.
I mean, it's coming out. I mean, kind of what I worked on this week. I mean,
What clear coat is that, Josh? What have you used on that?
I've just been using Future this time. I mean, it's actually turning out to be a really cool kit.
Nice.
It's quite a nice finish for Future, isn't it? I know that there's loads of people that are going to be, Future. It's
So, So here's my thing, and I will go over this with a different type of clear because I still have to do some of the mold lines again. But I don't want to start taking away that paint, so I have to put something down. And Future's really, really cheap.
Yeah, I've got some. I think it's I quite rate it. I'm not one of these that is going to say, "Oh, it's awful. You shouldn't use it."
I do the same thing with figures. I mean, it's here's the interior. I love this color for interior.
Yeah.
You get that leather look.
Is that a tan color?
It's honey brown from Craft Paint. But I still have to go in, and this is going to be the challenge, is getting some of that black vents to pop out and then not lose the color, the steering wheel, the gear shift. I have to put decals in the chrome piece there. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, that's good. Good luck.
Yeah, I probably should have put them in already, but. And then this is kind of what I bought. I've went and got some of these I'm an 80s kid, so I really loved Transformers as a kid.
Transformers, robots in disguise.
And then I kind of broke the arm off the other day, but here's the Optimus Prime version. Yeah, see, I broke his arm off already.
Yeah.
Pretty fragile. And then I got just a Reaper figure. Actually looks pretty cool. So we'll see how that
is that from a store, or is that 3D printed, or
no, it's a Reaper figure from
Reaper Miniatures.
Reaper Miniatures. I think this is 4, I think.
Yeah.
Here's 4.
I've got them in the box somewhere back there.
And then this is going to be something I buy in the future, but Trumpeter. Oh, wait a minute. Trumpeter is coming out with some of the kits from, if Mark will share that.
Yeah, I'm coming to it. There you go. Is this the Optimus Prime one you were showing earlier on the?
Yeah, it's some of these figures are going to be cool. Optimus Prime is the one down here in the middle.
Yeah,
I believe this is Starscream. This is Soundwave. But it's from the Bumblebee movie that just came out. These are going to be some of the kits that Trumpeter. They're called Smart Kits.
Excellent.
And I know for sure I'm getting the Optimus Prime and maybe that Bumblebee. I'm not sure if I'll get the other two. Just depends on how much they are.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see they have 3 different sizes. I mean,
what's their biggest size there? Have they got anything to give?
I didn't look to see what, because I'm afraid of the price tag. But I mean, that's probably a foot tall. That's
there to give references. Yeah.
Yeah, really not. I mean, I'm kind of guessing. But I mean, those don't look near as big. Now what?
Yeah.
And those are tiny. Those are, and they're. I want to say the packages are kind of like. Yeah, I have 15. I don't know what cm means, but
centimeters.
Yes. Yeah, look, 10 centimeters, that one says. So 10 centimeters is about that, I believe.
4. No.
Yeah, well, that's 15 centimeters.
But see, I mean, even if you look at this, there's...
It's about 6 inches. It's about 6 inches, Josh.
Yeah, so that's perfect. for me.
Nice size.
But I mean, if you look at this picture, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different kits that are going to come out with this. So I definitely will be going down this rabbit hole soon. I don't think they're out till next month or the month after.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to end up going down with my grandson.
Yeah, I've got a feeling. Are you finished with the screen now?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where I left off at.
Well, so
yeah, there we go.
So
Stop.
it's interesting because I think there will be a lot of people that, because many people don't like. No, let me get this right. There are some modelers that don't like not Transformers. What are the other ones? The ones that are big.
The Gundam?
Yeah. But may be interested in the Transformers side of things from their childhood. I'm not big on Gundam, but I'm definitely interested in doing an Optimus Prime or a Bumblebee. Because
actually, you know what, Mark? If any of the Gundams that I have found that are cool, it's that tank one. Because it's got two cannons, it's got some arms. The tread. I mean, I broke the one I was working on, but the treads come apart. So some of them have got. That one's probably the better one for me.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about those, it looks like they're going to be like level 1, maybe 2 tops.
Yeah.
They're smart kits.
Yeah, they look like the Bandai type kit.
Yeah, well, see, Bandai, I mean, they have what, 5? I could have it wrong, but I think they have like 5 different levels.
I don't know.
So
what, the Gundams?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can get up to the, what is it?
There's high grade, master grade, perfect grade. There's all sorts.
And then you have those the little teddy bears and stuff too. That's the start.
Yeah, those are the ones I used to get my grandson. Yeah.
Right. So with that, we're going to swiftly move on to our topic tonight, which is AK. And you would have to have been, to be honest, living under a very, very heavy rock if you haven't heard or seen what's going on with AK. So just to bring everyone up to speed, basically AK brought out a book, and it was called Condemned? I think the book was called Condemned. And they brought out an advertisement campaign with it. And it was, in their own words, hard-hitting. But it was awful. I don't know how else to explain it other than it was images of genocide from Rwanda, the Nazi occupation of Europe. It just went on, and it was horrendous visions of war, and they had tremendous backlash. Now, before we get into the discussion, I'm just going to read their most updated apology that went out to everyone. I'm not showing the video. Most people that are watching this will know exactly what we're talking about. And I really don't want to associate this channel with the video because it will get pulled down almost straight away. So I'm going to read to you their apology. It is quite long, so bear with me, but it gives you a good idea of where they were, what they were thinking, what they were trying to do. So here we go. At AK Interactive, our intention has always been to push the boundaries of our hobby. Yesterday, we posted some content online to advertise our new book, Condemnation, that offended many, and for that, we sincerely apologise. It was not our intention to offend, and we deeply regret that it had this effect. In the morning, we launched a hard-hitting advertising campaign for our new publication, which contained graphic images and phrases from historical texts that many found offensive. The content we posted portrayed human suffering in its most extreme form and was accompanied by articles from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This was designed to demonstrate the disconnect between the ideal of human rights and the lived experience of so many throughout recent history. We kept those videos online for a period of time, during which time they were viewed 1,000 times and then removed them, advertising the book through another video that was also then taken down. Our aim in posting this content was to generate the feeling.
Froze, Mark.
Yep, you froze up, Mark. Yep, I think we lost him. Let me send him a quick message here. I don't think he realizes it.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's starting to there we go. He's back.
Oh, there you are. I sent you a message. Disregard it, Mark, because you froze up there for a minute.
Okay, where did I get to?
When they were talking about the historical images that they posted.
So I'm going to backtrack a bit. Apologies if I go over this again. I'll go back to. Did I go over where they were viewed several thousand times?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's almost
okay. So aiming posting this content was to generate the feelings of rage and indignation that such human tragedies generate when they first occur. And while this anger persists, all too often these tragedies are soon forgotten and their memories disappear as if they had never happened. That is the object of Condemnation. It is designed as a humble piece of social commentary, capturing such tragedies as the Vietnam War, the genocide in Rwanda, and the disappearance of the Aral Sea, and the ravages of drug addiction, so they are not forgotten. The concept behind Condemnation was to assemble a team of first-class modelers to capture something of these events and themes in miniature through a series of vignettes and dioramas made with painstaking and painful realism. It is an unconventional approach to our hobby, but one we believe has a valid place within it. We hope modelling can be a tool for social commentary, raising awareness and causing the audience to ask fundamental questions. We approach this difficult subject with care, taking the advice of journalists who have worked in conflict settings and with organisations who work in the field of human rights. We decided upon an advertising campaign that would recreate the same feelings of disgust, horror, and rejection as news of the events themselves would do. It was designed to prick our readers' conscience, like the theme of the book itself. We knew it would be controversial, but we accept that the content shared as part of the advertising campaign was a misjudgment on our part and that we underestimated the offence it would cause. AK Interactive is committed to human rights. Proceeds from Condemnation will go to a local NGO, Ethiovida, that works towards the reconstruction of Ethiopia a country that has suffered several decades of civil war. As a company, we have supported local charities and initiatives, and during the worst months of the COVID-19 pandemic, we donated several thousand euros to different organisations. On this occasion, we got it wrong, and we wholeheartedly apologise for any offence caused by our advertising campaign and the images and sentiments it portrayed. We do believe modelling can act as a social commentary, and that the content in condemnation is one means by which we can explore and reflect upon some of the darker sides of the human condition. And we sincerely hope that one day the Universal Declaration of Human Rights will truly encompass all of humanity.
If I go ahead, Mark, go ahead.
And that is their stand on it. Now, I will say, first of all, that isn't their first apology. I believe they made another one previous, which was not taken favourably. I tend to... It is a big company. They've got lots of people and lawyers and everything working for them. I think they've made a genuine mistake. I don't know what went on, but my opinion is that somebody, got it wrong and made a mistake. What concerns me is the content of the book. Yes, they've made an apology for the for the advertisement, but the content of the book still stands. It's still, as far as I'm aware, how to build dioramas of genocide. And I just don't understand who that would appeal to. And with that, I throw it open for discussion.
Here's my thought on it. I saw it a few hours after the video was posted, and I thought, what the are they thinking? Why would you use this to sell a book? Now, that apology you just read, had they put that out as a disclaimer in the beginning of that video, I believe they wouldn't have gotten as much backlash as they did. Now, the backlash was going to come either way. That you don't use human suffering to sell a book, a modeling book on top of that.
No.
You don't use images of death and destruction, regardless if they're historical. We spoke about this before. We've all seen those images. We've all seen them. But there's a place for it. Now, it doesn't belong in a marketing campaign for modeling. It just doesn't belong there. No. I've seen dioramas. We spoke about this that have shown stuff like that, and they're distasteful. I understand why they were done, but they're still distasteful. They bring that human revulsion in you. Anybody with a moral conscience, if they see that, it brings up a revulsion in you, because you know what? You recognize what's going on because you've seen it. You recognize the suffering that people have gone through. Yes, I understand all that. The human rights, I understand all that. But you're selling a book. So you're profiting off of that human suffering. Will it break them? I doubt it. They make a good product. That last apology, like we were discussing before, there was one before that was not taken very well because they didn't explain it. Now, I don't know who came up with that or who thought that was a good idea, But anybody with a moral conscience have seen that and said, hell no. They have a lot of work to do to clean this up. A lot of work.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not one that says boycott. But they have a lot of clean. I mean, somebody dropped somebody on their head when they were a baby to come up with something like that, you know?
So just between the four of us, out of a vote of the four of us, who thinks the book should be pulled and redone?
I don't believe in cancel culture. So me personally, I don't look. Everybody has a right to do, whatever they're going to do. But our right as consumers is not to buy it.
Yeah.
And that's how you can let them know your displeasure, is not to buy that book.
But if you were on there, if you were giving advice to Mig or whoever is involved in this.
Well, Mig's not involved in AK. Mig doesn't have anything to do with AK. He's got his own thing. So
is Mig not AK? I thought he was part of AK.
Well, it originally was his company. And
I know his wife took some of.
Yeah, his ex-wife's got it. Blah blah blah. I think that was with the original one, but AK itself is not. It has nothing to do with Mig. Mig has ammo. Mig ammo. That's his. AK. AK was his at one point and a few years back, but it's not his anymore. So that's Fernando. I think that's his name is Fernando Vallejo. He had not to have anything to do with Vallejo.
Right. My apologies for that.
No, it's a separate company.
But if you were giving advice,
I would have told him not to do it to begin with.
Yeah. I see. The thing is, they've brought the book out there. They've made the advert. Yes, it's a massive car wreck, as Gordon coined it earlier. And they've apologized, but the book still gives you advice on creating, as far as I'm aware, because obviously I haven't seen the book, but as far as I'm aware, it's giving you advice on creating genocidal dioramas.
Yeah, but if you're going to go that route, then you'd have to censor Google. You'd have to censor all these, because you can find those images all day long. Just do a Google search, and you'll find it.
Yeah.
So is the damage is, the book is out there, or it's going to be out. I haven't seen it, so I don't know what's in the book. But I can tell you this: I won't buy it. I don't need images of death and destruction to model destruction. You know what I mean? That's one area I stay away from. Now, if I do a model, I got ogre and you do a little blood effects, that's different. But I'm not going to try to make it, me personally, I wouldn't do it. But that's me. We spoke about, and I know Gordon and the other brothers here want to get in on this, but I'll just end this with like this here. I don't think, and this is no doubt, there is a segment of our humanity that will enjoy that book. The vast majority of us will say that we want nothing to do with it. But there is a segment that will buy the book, not because of they enjoy seeing that stuff, but because they enjoy they like the people, the painters or whatever that put them together. It is what it is, man. I mean, the book is already done. There's money been spent on there. They're not just doing it,
Yeah. I think it will affect their sales, though.
It'll, in the short term, I think it will.
Yeah.
I don't know. Long term, I think they're in for a long haul.
I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. I don't think so. I think it turned off a lot of people. Okay, you're right. But they are $1 million company, if not more. If you lose 1,000 people to buy your stuff, that really is not going to hurt your bottom end. It's not going to hurt your bottom end because
sorry to be. I don't want to be argumentative here, Gil. But a minute ago, you said the same as Josh. They've got a lot of work to do ahead of them.
Well, yes, they do. They have to repair their image. They have to repair.
Josh has come in and said the same thing.
Exactly.
You said no.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this here. They have a lot of work to do to repair their image over this.
Yeah.
They have to make, do whatever they're going to do. They have to do it.
Yeah.
In the long term, short term, it's going to hurt them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But in the long term, they can survive it.
Yeah, I think they will.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not going to hurt them. In the short term, they're going to feel it.
Yeah, but, sorry, I just wanted to make sure.
In the long term, they take some steps to repair this. Me personally, don't put the book out. Don't put the book out. And that'll go a long way to repairing that image. Will they do that? They don't talk to people like me, so I don't know.
They've obviously, I dare say that book's already printed and bound.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're in their shoes, you have to weigh that. Okay, you put this statement out. Now, if you want to put some meat behind that statement, don't issue the book.
Now, there's another way. So we've looked at that, but there's going to be a lot of people. There'll be a minority, but there'll be a lot of people that will now want that book.
That's what I just said. There is a segment of the population that will want that book.
And they will go to any lengths to get it and it kind of becomes more valuable if they sort of decided they weren't going to print as many copies because of what happened. It then becomes more valuable because you've got a minority of people that will say, "Yeah, I've got that book."
Well, there you have it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying about. There's a segment of our modeling population, figure painters, modelers, whatever. For the most part, most of us want nothing to do with it. But you always have that small percentage that is going to want it, for whatever reason, whatever the reasons are, either for the controversy of it, because they like the people that are in it, or because they enjoy that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
You're going to have some people that want that book. So that's what are they going to be able to sell a lot of them? That's yet to be seen. Would I do it? No. After that statement, it sounds like a heartfelt statement. I don't know the man personally, so I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
But if you want to put any teeth behind that statement, you do not release the book.
Yeah, well, this is it. I was one of the thousands that were watching it unfold live. All right, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. That it's like we were talking earlier on, Gil. There's a certain unwritten rule that there are certain subjects that as model makers you don't touch with a barge pole.
You don't touch them.
And as I was watching the video, this was a promotional video going out, right? And when it started showing you photographs of how to build a gas chamber,
Dave Price just mentioned that in a comment.
Yeah, I was just about to. Yeah, Dave Price mentioned that.
The guy was showing you how to do chipping on the back of the door.
See, that's disgusting because you know what those chips signify. People,
that's chlorine. Bloody chlorine.
Yeah, right. And I was, as it unfolded, and that is one image that I keep getting in my mind and stuff. When I'm sitting doing stuff, when I'm chipping something or whatever, it flashes back to that of this guy showing you how to chip a door, right? Yeah, us as model makers and as human beings, with all the genocide and stuff that went on, right? We can imagine that
Yes.
Now here, Gordon, I can understand and say if the Wiesenthal Center wanted to commission something to display in the Holocaust Museum to show you what it would look like inside of. I can see that. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But you're totally insane to want to put that in a book and show people, because we all know there are some sick individuals out there that are going to want to do that.
Yeah, well, this was it. The guy's showing you how to chip a door, how to do rust stains on the pipes, right? And in the bottom right-hand corner, they had a photograph of a Zyklon B canister. Right? Now, to me, no. You've overstepped the line big time.
I mean, another thing I want to mention is I originally started the Sprue Surgery Waiting Room, which is the sister or brother group to this. And it was originally, those that were early into the group will know it was originally Misfits. And it's for people, the group was not designed, but my main intention was for the group to bring people in that suffered from mental health, anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. That is what my whole intent behind my the group was. That's the kind of people that I wanted to accept in. I wanted somewhere for them to go where they could feel safe, where they could talk, they could open up if they had a problem. They could message one of us, and that's my vision for my group, our group. Sorry. Now I know that when you talk about putting chipping on the back of the doors, that will affect some of the people in the group in a very profound way. They won't just read it as chipping on the doors, the back of the doors. To them, they will see men, women, and children being gassed, clawing at the doors to get out. That's what they will see.
Well, Mark, I'm glad you brought that up, because in my group, ReddragonModelWerks, I have that I know there's some Jewish members there. And Gary was pretty proactive. Gary's one of my moderators, and he put up
I know Gary.
He said, he didn't want to have to do it, but we were not going to allow that video, anybody to share that video on any one of those pages. And I had a guy that says, well, what did it say? I said, well, you can go see it for yourself, but I'm not posting it here, because I understand that imagery, what it does to them. And I'm just talking about the Jewish folk. They had stuff about Rwanda and other things in there. Just mind-boggling images. Look, we can find all that online, like we were talking about before. If that's your kick, you can find that. If you're trying to remove it, then you would have to remove every bit of historical image that's ever been produced. So there's no way you can do that. The best way we can show our displeasure in what they had done is don't buy that book. End of story. To let them know you crossed a line here.
Yeah.
You crossed a line here. You're trying to, you know what? And like Dave says, I don't have a problem with so-called edgy art, or if that dial was in a museum. The point is, AK is using it to advertise their products, and that is just wrong on all accounts. That's the problem I have, that they use that to sell a product. And that dude that was showing how to do a gas chamber, there got to be something a little twisted in you to be doing that to begin with. Oh, look, this is how you chip a door in a gas chamber. Are you what? The hell's wrong with you? And then you got an image of this icon B next to it. So something is twisted. Something's messed up in your psyche to begin with to do that. So
it's just sick.
Yeah, like Mark says, I've seen the inside of Auschwitz on a school trip. That brings back memories I hope I forget.
Yeah, I don't think I could go there. I understand the importance of Auschwitz. I'm of the. I wouldn't be able to get those visions out of my head. I've seen them in National Geographic. I've seen the chamber with all the clothes and and even now I can recall that photo like that. So to go there and be where it actually happened, I wouldn't. I just couldn't.
If their intent, as you read that apology, if their intent was to bring awareness to what inhumanity does to what we do to each other as human beings, the inhumanity part, the sick, destructor. If their intent was to do that, there was other ways to do it. There would have been other ways to honor that. What they chose in that moment, and those modelers chose, was to show the brutality of it, and how you can achieve that brutality in your modeling.
Yeah,
like Mark says, they could have shown how to make a zombie figure. It's only imagination from there on how you get to a corpse. Of course, we all know that. So why didn't they do that? There was other ways to do that. There's other ways to show, to pay homage to the victims of this brutality. There were 1,000 ways they could have done it. They went the extreme. And you know what? The more I think of it, the more I think that was their intent. Their intent was to shock you.
Well, they've openly admitted it, haven't they? Shock and awe. I think
that's exactly what their intent was.
When they go into battle, they call it shock and awe.
Gordon, what do you think? I'm thinking that's what their intent was to shock you.
Watching it unfold as the video rolled, right? After I got like halfway through it, that's exactly what came to mind. This is going to cause a right shitstorm, right? They've overstepped the line. They've overstepped that unwritten rule by doing it the way they've done it. It's same as Gil says. If they wanted to do a book about that particular subject, there is other ways to do it.
Exactly.
And what have they done? They've gone, like you've said, the shock and awe way. And look what has happened. We're talking about it. Other YouTube channels have been talking about it and stuff. Yeah, I think there was 3 apologies, right?
Yeah, 3 that I know of. Yeah, there were 3 that I know of.
As it was going up, as the video was playing, there was live comments coming up. They couldn't delete them quick enough. And it was all people like ourselves saying, look, you've crossed the line here. You've crossed that unwritten rule, right? Do I think it'll affect them in the long term? No, I don't think so. Short term, possibly.
Yeah.
But I'm in 100% with Gil on this one. The way to do it now is to say, right, that's it, book gone. It's never coming out.
Yeah.
We've made a mistake. Let's not forget it. Discuss it in a positive way.
Yes.
So
learn from it. Learn from it.
So if we decide that we want to do something similar to this in the future, we do it in a more tasteful fashion.
Thank you. That's exactly you just hit it right there. You just summed it up right there. If you're going to do something like that, do it in a tasteful fashion that brings awareness to it, but not shock. Because what they've done is they just revolt most of their community, and the only way to repair that, if they want to put teeth behind that statement, the only way to do it is not to let that book out.
Yeah.
Or we don't buy it. Just don't buy it.
Well, this is it. It's like, what do I model? Mainly aircraft, military stuff, right? What is military stuff designed to do? To kill people.
There's only one purpose for it.
But we don't go banding about
Yeah.
Right. My granddad was at Dunkirk. I've got two uncles that were in Bomber Command, right? And I've got one of them. He died a few years ago of Parkinson's, right? And I was the only one that he ever opened up to about what he went through in Bomber Command, right? Yet he was a rear gunner, right? And he went and bombed Dresden, right? And I can remember him one Christmas, because the family used to get together at Christmas, as you do, right? We were sat outside, and he was in tears telling me what was going through his head.
As they were dropping. Yep.
They dropped the bomb load, they were flying back, and he was watching Dresden burn, right? And the thoughts that were going through his head at the time of what them poor people were going through, right? Yeah, that started to come through. Then he got jumped by a night fighter, and then he was fighting for his life because the rear turret he was in got blew apart. And he literally flew from Dresden back to the UK, hanging on the tail wheel.
Yeah.
So he'd gone through the horrors of war to fighting for his own life and stuff. And I've heard it firsthand off my granddad.
Yeah.
Right. When they were trying to get back to Dunkirk to be evacuated, what some of the French locals were doing to the Tommies as they were trying to get back to the UK. Right. We all know it happens, right? But we don't want to glorify it in our model making, so to speak.
Yeah. No, there's a reason. There's a reason why when people make models and dioramas specifically, they do tanks and that, and they've got soldiers in. You don't have tanks, and then you don't have women and children in the diorama that have just been gunned down or rolled over by a tank or something like that. You just don't do it. It's an unwritten rule.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, Josh, what do you think?
So I'm going to ask this question. Do any of you have AK products?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think we all do.
I don't. I don't have any. But
right.
Are you going to continue to buy those products?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it won't change. I won't buy the book. But I will buy the products because they're good. But the thing to remember is, and we spoke about this earlier, that there's many different types. So AK, you really need to look this up because I'm not sure on it. I know we discussed this earlier, Gil, didn't we? Mig Jimenez created a lot of these groups, but they got fragmented when he divorced. So most people, and I've done this, the minute you mention AK, the first person you think of is Mig Jimenez. And Gil has corrected me and said that Mig is not in charge of AK.
No, he has nothing to do with him. Yeah.
Different from him.
Mig has ammo. Mig started the original company was Mig.
Yeah.
He lost that. Then he started AK, and that was a messy breakup there. So he walked away from it. He lost that. His company is Ammo, Mig Ammo. He has nothing to do with Mig or AK Interactive.
Yeah. So the one thing we need to buy is don't stop buying stuff from, if you feel that passionately, Mig Jimenez is nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
This is whoever's in charge of that side of things. And so there's different. I've got AK. I'm just having a look. I've got these Mig oil brushes. Now they're MIG ammo, so they're not AK.
Yeah, those are ammo. They're not AK. I mean, I don't have a lot of AK stuff. Most of their washes I threw out because they went bad.
Yeah, I've got a feeling I've got a few jars of paint, Josh, but that's probably about it with just the AK logo.
The only products I've got are the AK True Metals. All their other products, I think you can either make yourself or go old school.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how many different types of chipping fluid do you need when you when a can of hair lacquer will do the same thing?
Yeah. Now I've got some of their Life Color their new paints. This new line they came out that was sent to me by someone that sells them, and asked me to try them out to let him know what I thought of them.
Yeah,
and I'm going to do that. It's a product. I'm going to use it, and then people can make up their own minds from there. So we'll go from that. Do I specifically go out and buy AK products? No, not really. I haven't in years. Do I have some of their books? Some of the older stuff when MIG owned them, I still have some of that. Some of the older stuff when MIG was still part of it, I have some of that. But I mean, if I'm going to buy a product, a paint, I want to see how it works. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll go from there. And I'm talking as a painter. But let me add a caveat to this, because I'm reading some of this, like from Dave and from Mark. Mark says he doesn't own any, and after that, if you buy AK, I won't support them in any shape or form. Dave says I have never purchased any of their products, and as I have not had any reason to do so, and that's fine, man. If that's how you want to show your displeasure at what they've done, by all means, man, that's your right. By all means, do it. Go ahead, Josh.
See, my point is, there's a lot of groups that I don't post in a lot of groups, but I'm on there, and there's pretty well boycott of AK.
But how many? Look, I've been around this community about 7 years, and I can count them on two hands the boycotts that have gone through. Did it ruin someone? No, not really.
They're going to be as good as their last product.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
They could bring something out tomorrow that the modeling world will go, wow, this is amazing. And it will wipe all that out.
Yeah, many of us won't forget, but a lot of people will just say, okay, and move on. They just won't buy that book. They don't want to have anything to do it. And here's the other thing that let's see, was it Mark that said this? Dave says, I've read some of the modelers are not happy their models have been used in that manner. That's where they're going to get hurt. If they got some premier modelers to do this kind of stuff, and now their name is attached to that, that's where it's going to hurt.
Yeah, they're not going to be happy.
That's because they're trying to get away from just being the military paint into the figure paint stuff, and that's where it's going to hurt them. In the short term, they'll weather this out. 6 months, a year, they'll weather it out. But in the short term, it's going to hurt them. In the long term, if they were smart, they wouldn't put that book out.
But they've also probably got several thousand copies all waiting to
go
out.
You know what, Mark? Bite the bullet and destroy the books. End of story.
Well, yeah, you would, but we all know how big companies think.
Yeah, it won't happen because there's too much money invested in that book.
And there's people that will buy them. There's probably people already
queuing up for it.
Lined up, willing to pay above and beyond what the book is worth, so they can have a copy.
Yeah. Just I guess we can beat this horse for long, but I guess at the end of the day is this here. What does it mean to you? If it repulsed you to the point that you want nothing to do with their products, by all means.
I bet there'll be YouTubers that will want to get that book to review it because they'll be the first and it will promote their channel.
Yeah, but they better get ready for the backlash then, because you know.
I know that. But I bet they're out there. I bet there's people thinking now, oh, wow, this. If I could get this book, I would get so many. I would attract
views. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's, like we said, there's a certain segment of our population, man, that enjoys that kind of nonsense. You know,
it's disgusting.
It is. So, you know, you guys got any comments on that? You know, if you want to talk to Mark, or you know, you want to this further, man, just drop your comments down there. You know, and if there's
maybe it doesn't disgust you. Maybe you believe it's you know, we should all be well informed. You think maybe it should be in the, you know, we should be discussing it. The one thing I will say is that before their advert, or whatever you want to call it, nobody was talking about Rwanda or the Holocaust or things like that.
There's that.
So in one way, they've achieved what they set out. They wanted people to be talking about it, and we are.
Exactly.
And the modeling community is talking about it.
Exactly.
So there you go. There's pros and cons all the time.
Well, here's the other thing too. They're talking about it, but in our modeling community, especially in the military stuff, there's a lot of guys that served, men and women that served in the military. They've seen this kind of stuff up close and personal, and they're repulsed by it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true.
So there you go. I don't think there's a lot more we can add, really.
Not really. We've said everything. Yeah.
It's up to you as an individual what you want to do. I think it's unanimous here that none of us will be buying the book.
No.
I've got no desire at all. I just think that just to buy the book would embed horrific images that I just do not want. As it stands, it will probably take me personally a few days just to, I'll have to blank all this out.
Yeah, decompress from it.
Yeah, just to think of the scratching detail on the back of doors. It's,
you know, I didn't even think of that, Gordon. And when you guys said that, you know, that's the one thing that, you know, by then I was just disgusted, but that didn't even enter my brain until you mentioned it. You know, now I'm thinking, how can somebody sit down there, build one of those things, and show you how to do that? Oh, look, I'm doing these scratch marks, the rust stains. Dude, do you know what those represent? What the hell's wrong with you? You know? See, that's another level. Like, I forgot about the chamber. That's a whole nother level, you know, of I don't want to say it because I'll curse. No. That's another level of,
we could go on forever with this. It's the long and short of it is it is disgusting. There's no way that I will be buying that book.
Yeah.
And I accept their apology.
Neither.
Sorry?
I said anybody out there shouldn't either.
No, but I mean, you got free will and all that.
Of course. Yep.
That's up to them. But, I would say stay away from it. You don't want that. You don't need it.
Go watch a zombie movie.
Yeah. And I think that's it for us this week.
So let's spin the topic to a positive note. What are you going to be working on next week, Gil?
Oh, I think I'm going to paint my the Game Forge, the big Game Forge Titan I got. It's been sitting in primer. I did the frame already, and I think I'm going to do it in the Salamander's colors. So I think I'm going to finally paint that. And then I have a big Godzilla that my grandson gave me for Christmas one year, and it's a toy, but I'm gonna sand it down, repaint it to it looks like Godzilla and not just green, you know. So I've been wanting to do that for a while. So it's sitting on the floor back there. I've been wanting to do it for a while. So
what are you going to be working on, Gordon?
Hopefully, getting the tornado a couple steps nearer to being finished. Painting my ground crew for me spit, my 109, and getting that together. And in the week in the hangout, I'll be working on the decent 86.
Yeah.
And that's the colours I should be painting it in.
Nice.
How
about you, Mark?
Yeah, well, Gordon's working on the decent one. I'm working on the shitty one. But there you go. Can't have everything, can you?
Yeah, no.
I'm enjoying it, and it's a challenge. It's a learning curve. I'm learning new skills, so I'm happy.
Hey, I want to say something before we leave. You mentioned the thing about the and it's been a little bit of itch in the back of my head here about the all-clad. Now, if you guys are going to use the primer, the all-clad black primer, it says lacquer on the bottom. It's not a lacquer. It's an enamel. So when you spray that, you have to remember that is an enamel. It doesn't dry as fast as a lacquer does. But you can get it to dry as fast as a lacquer does. And how you do that is you drop depending on what airbrush you use. I use a Patriot 105. If I fill that halfway up with that, I'll put a drop or two of lacquer thinner in there.
Right.
But the lacquer thinner enables that enamel to flash out a lot faster than if you just let it sit on its own.
Right.
So let me ask a question. How much lacquer thinner do you put in?
If I'm doing this, and if I've got the paint maybe about halfway here, I'll put maybe 1, maybe 2 drops in there.
Oh, okay.
Where is it? Here's
like half and half.
Yeah, here's no, I don't go that thin because the gloss black primer is already very thin, so you don't want to thin it too much.
I've never used that stuff, so that's why I asked.
I hear this all the time. Oh, that lacquer doesn't dry. It's not a lacquer. It's an enamel. So anytime you use an enamel paint, it's going to take a while to dry. Gordon, you know that. It's going to take a while to dry. But if you want to get it to flash out faster, cut it with lacquer thinner. It works. Believe me, lacquer enamel, it works. It'll cut it fast. It'll dry faster. It'll harden faster. You don't have to let it sit for a week or so.
Yeah.
If you've got a lacquer thinner, a lacquer base coat, that'll say it'll take 5 minutes to dry. If you're using an enamel-based one, it'll take anything up to 20 minutes, half hour to dry. But it might be dry to touch, but you're better off leaving enamels for 24 hours to make sure they're fully cured. Yeah. The same as Gil says, if you want to speed up the drying time a little bit, just a couple of drops of lacquer thinner in it. Yeah. Not a lot, a couple of drops.
Yeah, just a couple of drops. You don't want to over thin it, just a couple of drops. Because Josh, that Mandalorian I did, that was all the helmet, everything was the stuff that I used the all-clad on was all shot in that, and I did exactly what I just said, and I'm not kidding. I swear, half hour later I was spraying that all-clad right on top of it, but it was a thin coat. You got a thin coat cut with lacquer thinner. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it was already dry, and I was able to put the other stuff. And then you let it sit. Then I let it sit overnight. I didn't touch it. I let it sit overnight. After that, it was good to go.
So, Josh, what are you working on this week?
I am hoping to finish this Dodge Charger, but I am actually switching shifts next week. So, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. I don't know if I'll get anything done or not. It's too early to tell.
Excellent. Right, we're going to have to close there because I'm expecting a knock at the door any second with my takeaway.
It was a good topic. It was a good topic, Mark. It was a good discussion.
I think it was. It needed discussing. And if you've got any comments during the week, pop them in. I think next week we were going to. What was it we were talking about earlier? I thought we said we'd make a good topic.
So we talked about doing weathering, windows. We came up with a couple. I
can't remember which one.
We're talking about using acrylic paint to an airbrush. Remember, we were talking about that too. How it's whatever paint you use it. Stuff like that. Lacquer versus acrylic. Whatever. But that was one of the topics earlier before we came on. We were talking about.
We'll have some.
We were talking about photographing your not how to get published, but what you're mentioning is we were talking about photographing your models. What do you use? The goods, the badge, etc., stuff like that. There.
Yeah, we would. That was another topic. There's so many. If you've got a topic that you want you want to see discussed, post it in the comments. We're always looking for new topics. But for now, for this week, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all very soon.
Don't buy that book. Do not buy that book.
No, do not buy that book.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.
Good night, guys.
Bye.